What if I told you that the struggle for freedom and sovereignty united two seemingly different communities in a way that changed the course of history? Let's dive into the untold story of the Seminole Wars, where Black and Indigenous alliances forged a legacy of resistance that still resonates today. Hey folks, I'm Professor Darius. Welcome back to African Elements. Welcome if you're new. I'm here in virtual form to talk about the origin of the Black Seminoles, but before I begin, I'd like to acknowledge the history makers in our Patreon community who make this content possible. If you'd like to join them and get early access to ad-free videos for just $1 a month, click the link below. Otherwise, you can support the channel for free by dropping a comment, hitting that like button, and subscribing. That said, let's jump in. The Seminole Wars were not just battles on a timeline. They were pivotal moments that shaped the intricate relationships between Black and Indigenous communities. These wars, spanning 3 distinct periods, were a testament to the intertwined struggles for Black freedom and Indigenous sovereignty. Imagine 18th century Florida, a land of vast swamps and untamed wilderness. In this backdrop, the story of the Seminole and African Americans began to take shape. The Seminole, emerging from the Creek Confederacy, derived their unique name from the Creek term Cimarron. Interestingly, this term might have its roots in the Spanish word cimarron, which paints images of the runaway or the wild. As the oppressive chains of slavery tightened, many African slaves, fueled by a deep yearning for freedom, ventured into the depths of Florida. Their journey, filled with hope and peril, led them to the Seminole. These brave individuals, soon known as the Black Seminoles, found more than just refuge among the Seminole. They found a community, a sense of belonging, and a shared purpose. As seasons changed and years rolled on, they wove their destinies with the Seminole, becoming an inseparable thread in the Seminoles' vibrant cultural tapestry. But this narrative isn't just about two cultures coming together. It's a powerful testament to resistance, unity, and shared aspirations. Bound by mutual respect and common challenges, the Seminole and Black Seminoles stood shoulder to shoulder. Together, they valiantly resisted U.S. forces during the tumultuous periods of the Seminole Wars. Their alliance, forged in the fires of shared adversities, is a shining example of the profound impact of collaboration, solidarity, and shared purpose. In reflecting upon their intertwined relationship, we're reminded of the enduring power of unity. Their shared history isn't just a chapter in a book, it's a luminous beacon, illuminating the boundless human capacity for collaboration, perseverance, and hope in the face of adversity. The Seminole Wars, spanning several decades, were a series of intense conflicts between the U.S. and the Seminole people of Florida. The first of these wars ignited as the U.S. sought to recapture runaway Black slaves who had found refuge among the Seminoles. These Black runaways, often referred to as Black Seminoles, didn't just seek shelter, they formed deep alliances with the Seminole people. According to historians, these alliances transcended mere strategy. They evolved into a unique cultural blend, leading to what some term as the Black Seminole ethnogenesis. The Black Seminoles didn't merely exist alongside the Seminoles. They integrated, becoming part of the community. They adopted Seminole attire, participated in their ceremonies, and even entered into marital unions with them. This was more than a mere alliance, it was a genuine cultural fusion, a melding of traditions and histories. However, the shadow of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1793 loomed large. This act, a tool for slave owners, threatened the newfound freedom of the Black Seminoles. It allowed for the recapture of runaway slaves across state lines, making the position of the Black Seminoles even more precarious. General Andrew Jackson, with ambitions of expansion, led U.S. forces deep into Seminole territory. His forces, with ruthless efficiency, scattered the villagers, razed their towns, and even seized Spanish territories. This aggressive stance forced Spain to cede its Florida territory to the U.S. But for the Black Seminoles, this meant a potential return to the chains of slavery. Jackson's motivations went beyond mere territorial gains. It was a clear message to both the Seminoles and the Black Seminoles. Their freedom and sovereignty were seen as threats to the expanding American nation. The culmination of the First Seminole War saw the U.S. firmly in control of Florida. The Seminoles were pushed further south, and many Black Seminoles faced the grim prospect of being returned to slavery. This war, while a tactical victory for the U.S., sowed the seeds of resistance that would sprout in the years to come. The Indian Removal Act of 1830, initiated by President Andrew Jackson, sought to relocate Native American tribes from the southeastern United States to lands west of the Mississippi River. This policy became the flashpoint for the Second Seminole War. The Seminoles, including the Black Seminoles, were staunchly opposed to this forced removal. They had already been displaced once and were not willing to endure it again. In 1832, the Treaty of Payne's Landing added fuel to the fire. A few Seminole chiefs, under duress, agreed to move west if the lands were found suitable. However, this treaty was met with widespread controversy and resistance. Many Seminoles, including the influential leader Osceola, vehemently opposed it. They believed that those who signed the treaty did not truly represent the Seminole nation, leading to internal strife and division. Osceola's rise to prominence was marked by his unwavering resistance against removal. Rejecting the Treaty of Payne's Landing, he rallied a faction of Seminoles against U.S. troops. His defiance made him a revered figure among both the Seminoles and the Black Seminoles. However, his capture and subsequent death in 1838 dealt a significant blow to the Seminole resistance, turning him into a martyr for their cause. The Black Seminoles once again played a pivotal role in this war. Their knowledge of the Florida terrain, combined with their skills as woodsmen and marksmen, made them invaluable. They served as scouts, spies, and even led Seminole bands into battle. Their involvement wasn't just about supporting the Seminoles, it was a fight for their own freedom and identity. Among the Black Seminoles, John Horse, also known as Juan Caballo, emerged as a formidable leader. His military acumen and charismatic leadership were evident in several key battles, including the significant Battle of Lake Okeechobee. John Horse's leadership was instrumental in bolstering the Seminole resistance and keeping the dream of freedom alive for the Black Seminoles. Slavery as an institution cast a long shadow over the Second Seminole War. The U.S. government's objectives weren't limited to the removal of the Seminoles. They were also intent on reclaiming runaway slaves. This dual objective made the Black Seminoles both valuable allies and prime targets. Their very existence and freedom posed a direct challenge to the institution of slavery. The Second Seminole War, which concluded in 1842, was a costly endeavor for the U.S. government. While most of the Seminoles, including the Black Seminoles, were forcibly relocated to Indian Territory, a resilient few remained in Florida, taking refuge in the Everglades. The war's aftermath left an indelible mark on both the Seminole and Black Seminole communities, shaping their destinies for generations. The Third Seminole War, spanning from 1855 to 1858, was ignited by renewed efforts to remove the remaining Seminoles from Florida. Determined to eradicate the last remnants of the Seminole Nation, including the Black Seminoles, the U.S. was poised for one final push. Often referred to as the Billy Bowlegs War, this conflict was named after the Seminole leader who spearheaded the resistance. Billy Bowlegs and his band were among the last to resist, refusing to abandon their ancestral lands. This war was not merely a territorial dispute, it was a battle to preserve a way of life, a culture, and an identity for both the Seminoles and the Black Seminoles. Consistent with their history, the Black Seminoles remained at the forefront of this struggle. Their freedom, hard-won and fiercely defended, was once again under threat. Despite being heavily outnumbered and outgunned, they stood side by side with the Seminoles, sharing the burdens of war and its dire consequences. Their continued involvement was a testament to their unyielding spirit and an unwavering quest for freedom. The Third Seminole War concluded in 1858, resulting in the paid exodus of most of the remaining Seminoles to Indian Territory. Yet a resilient few chose to stay, making their homes in the remote areas of the Everglades, far from the reach of U.S. forces. While this war marked the end of organized Seminole resistance, its aftermath left an indelible mark on the Seminole and Black Seminole communities. The Seminole Wars were not just a series of military confrontations. They were a complex tapestry of alliances, betrayals, and a relentless struggle for freedom and land. The Black Seminoles, throughout these wars, emerged not just as allies, but as active participants, their story echoing the resilience and courage of people fighting against overwhelming odds. Their legacy, intertwined with that of the Seminoles, continues to resonate, shaping the relationships between Black and Indigenous communities and standing as a poignant reminder of the shared struggles and enduring spirit of both communities. We've only barely scratched the surface here. If you're intrigued and want to dig deeper, check out a more detailed explanation in the full article at the link below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories from history. Special shout out to the history makers in our Patreon community. You can join them for just $1 a month and get early access to ad-free videos. I'm Professor Darius, and until next time, I'll see you in the comments.